Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Step 1, wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo. Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
My bites in that book, my bark buddies. And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement. If they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. Of her being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
I'ma say this right here, baby, because some of y'all be acting like y'all don't be seeing it. But, baby, playing victim in a situation that you created, oh, yeah, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. Hello, somebody. How you gonna create the storm, then get mad when it rain? How you hurt somebody and then get mad that they hurt? How you damage somebody, go outside your way to destroy a person and then get mad when they no longer want to deal with you? Baby, playing a victim in a situation that you created, oh, baby, that's narcissistic as hell to me. I'm sorry, but it is.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Is shaking, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday, almost TGIF. So I am here this morning. I told you I probably wouldn't be here tomorrow, this morning, but I am here this morning. I'm here. We got a lot of stuff to go over. I might get into the Alex Murdaugh stuff kind of in the end of this. But, what is going on in the United States? We're going to get into diving into some of this craziness. It's pretty crazy. We spent all this time on Danelo Cavalcante, chasing him down, trying to get him back into jail. But we got a bunch of them running around the United States right now. Yeah. We have a bunch of Cavalcantes running around the United States right now. We're all focused on one. Good morning, Jody. Good morning, Turtle Madness. Shalema, it's nice to see you. Melody, good morning, love. It's nice to see you in the house. Skittles, Angie, good morning. Good morning. Electric Medium, nice to see you here. Whoa, 351 here in AZ. Jan, coffee for sure. Now you know why we call it the coffee club, right? Coffee is on tap. Like if I could just, get an IV line or a pick line going and just get it in. Just get the coffee, get the caffeine flowing. Like I could literally be that is my drug of choice. You don't want to see me on a day without coffee. I promise. It's not a pretty picture. It's not a good thing. There is a reason why coffee is the mantra of the Bullhorn Betty channel. Patricia Miller, good morning. Lulu's Nana, it's nice to see you. Second Thesis 310, good morning, love. Jennifer B is up in the house with Net L. And Skittles, I think I already said hi. So, good morning. Regina's in the house. Lloyd, yes, don't forget. Lloyd's reminding us, don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you walk in. Today, I got the drama-free zone banner on. Yes, I have blocked all of those a-holes that think they're somebody. And you know what? At the end of the day, I understand. This is not the first time I spoke to a PI, and they're feeling a little heat from the web sleuths. So I kind of understand. I understand why he's so butthurt over it, but it is what it is. I'm there helping. And at the end of the day, if people want to criticize the help, go ahead and criticize it. But it's saying more about you than it says about me. I think I made my point. The point is how long was this professional PI, going to be invested in this? And let me tell you guys, it went from one thing to another. So first I was grifting, right? It all started with me grifting. I don't know how I was grifting on this case. I've never asked anybody for a dime, but somehow I was grifting. So this started that. Then it went from that to what else did it go to cops? Law enforcement doesn't want to deal with me. Well, they don't want to deal with you either, dude. I hate to burst your bubble. So then it went, but the goalpost kept going. And then it was, well, I found 14 people in 2023. Really? Where? Now he puts it on the top of his thing, lying through his teeth, can't say one person that this man has found. And so anyways, we just kept, the goalpost kept moving. It was never just about the grifting. It was never about that. He wanted to try to utilize my name to talk bad about me, a woman. Now, mind you, this is a grown man attacking a woman for no reason. That tells you a lot about his character and integrity right off the bat. And then he goes on for days arguing with me and belittling me and putting me down. I finally ended it and said, you know, any man that comes after a woman probably has an anatomy issue, which I'm pretty sure that is the ultimate issue that is plaguing this man. It's a different type of short man syndrome, if you get my drift. So, you know, I'm over it. So I blocked them all. And then, of course, this Rose chick in there, she's like, I'm on the team too. And I'm like, now it all makes sense. You're not getting free information from me. Delete. So I have officially blocked all of these, you know, what do they call bougie PI people? You know, the people that got, I don't even want to call them bougie because they're not bougie. They're desperate. They're infiltrating these missing person places and reaching out to these families and saying, hey, I'm a licensed PI, which he is. I'm a licensed PI. I'm happy to help you pro bono. Oh, by the way, we need to raise money to fly me out to where I need to go out and do my job. But I'll help you for free. So it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick to put money in his pocket and see a real professional PI. Like I deal with PIs all over the country. I have to pull, you know, there's some things that even my expertise can't find. So I have to utilize private investigators. I paid money to private. Many of you may know this, many of you may not, but I ponied up $250 to private investigators in the last year. I can promise you that. And the year before, it's about, I don't know, I spent about $200 to $500 every year on private investigators. So I work with them. So I usually call, like I had this one lady that was in New Hampshire, you know, and I have a case that's in, say, Texas. So this PI, instead of, you know, running the work for me and charging me the fee from New Hampshire, recommended me use this colleague that's in Texas. Same price. It's not like the prices vary, you know, sometimes like if you're in New York City, you're paying New York City prices, but typically around the country, you know, that the price changes, you know, 100 maybe per, depending on who you're using or whatever, but you can usually keep some of this stuff down around $200, $250. And the more involved it gets, you know, there is upwards of $1,600 we've paid before. But for the most part, some of the stuff that I just need, $250 does it. Okay. Not needing to go out there and research and search. But even if I did need to go out there, a professional PI would recommend a colleague or somebody they know in that state. If they don't know that person in that state, they'll tell you how to review. And even actually a good PI would actually reach out to PIs and do the introduction. They'll call the PI, say, hey, you know, I'm a PI in this state, and I have a client that needs your, you know, expertise in your state. I want to send them over, but, you know, I wanted to talk to you because they're a professional PI, so they can, you know, basically do interview this PI for you. And then they'll come back to you and say, you know, I really don't know anybody, but I did talk to this guy. He seems pretty reputable. Here's his number, you know? And so that's kind of what I'm accustomed to, especially when you need boots on the ground. Do you know how costly it is to fly people in and out every time you need to get a body out there? It's very expensive. It's a con. You know, and he was out there calling me a grifter, and I felt like that whole situation was a grift. So I kept it going for days. Well, you know what? I'm a busy woman. Okay. I'm a busy woman, and some of my responses took hours before I could respond. He was quick. He's sitting right there waiting for a response, you know, and all it was to pat himself on the back. It was disgusting. And what he's doing to Layla's parents, the father and it's sad, but you know, they're grown. I understand they're going through emotional. That's the bad part is if these people are already emotional, you know, like the father, think about it. He's in New Jersey. He doesn't know what happened to his daughter. Okay, so you can imagine a father being an absolute emotional wreck, right? And probably angry, you got to think that when you have to deal with a situation like this, there's some anger that comes. Think about the stages of grieving that we have to go through. Well, even when we're not grieving, there's a lot of those stages that we have to go through when something happens in our life. So you're talking about somebody that's already probably drained emotionally, probably not sleeping well, somebody that's not, their head's not thinking, I don't know, but they're grown adults. They make their own decisions. I just think that it would behoove them to get a private investigator in Tennessee, even if they don't want to use the private investigator Jen's mom's using. I still think if you need boots on the ground, you need to have a PI in that state that can be those boots on the ground that you need. It's not cheap to have a PI. I think that Steve's great for places that are over near California where he can do his job without having to have all this extra funding flying in. But, if he's licensed in Tennessee and these parents want to use him, then they can raise the money to fly him in and out. I just think it's a whole lot of wasted money for a family that doesn't have money. That's all I'm saying. So to each their own. We're going to continue to do what we can do to help Layla. We're not, I have to make a decision. Is the drama worth it? And it's not. I had a point to prove, and that was how many days was this professional PI going to invest in this argument, and he invested quite a bit of time. So obviously he either doesn't have paying customers, or his paying customers aren't getting his full attention. Either way, I think my point was proven very well, but I have no use to deal with him. He's not somebody I would ever recommend to anybody. So my communication with him is done, and they're not going to get free information from me either, right? Because this guy is going to end up trying to take the work that we did and pass it off as his work to the father and the stepmother. So all of our work will be going to Jen, and Jen can disseminate that information over to George and Brittany herself, but they're not going to be able to take our work and use it as if it's theirs. And I think that's truly what they were trying to do, quite frankly, because they haven't been there. They haven't been there. So there's got to be a reason why he attacked me for no reason. Cavalcante. After Cavalcante was apprehended, our beautiful Olivia was out there. She was out there when he walked out the doors. After they had captured him, and they did an interview with him for like 4 something hours. Our beloved Chronicles of Olivia was out those doors. I had an opportunity to be in her live. She had a live going on TikTok, guys. She had over, I think it was 12 or 13,000 people tuned in to her live, literally for hours. 3 hours, I think, is what they did. And I think her phone, like right when he was walking out the door, I think her phone, because the internet was bad. And there was times throughout the live that it would just say, stay tuned, the thing has been paused, the video has been paused. And I don't know why. But apparently right when he was walking out the door, it paused. So all these people waited for like hours to watch this guy walk out, and it paused. She got it. I'm pretty sure she got it. But it was a good day. And I was actually surprised. See, this is what I don't understand about society. I really don't. Like, people are just entirely too, like, they're more concerned about this man's humanity, how he's treated and stuff like that, than they care about the, just some reporters, right? Just some reporters. Then they care about the victims that he brutalized, right? The families that will forever be altered because of this one man's actions in 2 separate countries, mind you, as well. So you had this kind of photo op of their capture. This was a big deal for many of those. This guy eluded police and law enforcement, 500 police and umpteen federal partners out there. This man eluded them, a violent, dangerous man. And then we learned that he had a 22 rifle with scope, and let's not forget the flashlight too. So he had, he was dangerous. He was out there. He was running from these people, and they captured him after 2 solid week manhunt, and they took a photo op with him. They were proud of the work that they did. They were proud of capturing this dangerous criminal. And there are people butthurt at the fact that they took a picture. Yeah, that's, you know what? It's people like that that really just irritate me, you know? And people are allowed to be who they are, but it's like something like that. It's you know me, it's hard to contain it. Like, I would look over it. If I was sitting in that room, I'd be like, are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Lady, you know what? Take your bleeding heart someplace else. Like, you know, I'm so sick of these bleeding hearts. You know? I really am. Take that crap somewhere else. I'm sick of being put at risk every freaking day over these bleeding hearts. You want to put your family in jeopardy? Fine. Take these criminals home with you and put them in your home. But don't put them in mine, and don't put them back out on the streets. You know? So hate me. I'm mean. Wah. I don't want to be living amongst animals. And this whole catch and release nonsense is getting ridiculous. And you know what? Clearly, we're not as safe as the government would like us to believe, because you know what? Cavalcante isn't the only person running loose on the streets of our country right now that's decided to break out of jail. So as soon as this guy was captured, guess what? I get a text message with 2 more people on the loose in this country. And then I'm sitting here watching Dolly Vision's channel. I'm trying to think, you know, am I going to go through Alec Murdaugh stuff again? Or am I going to, you know, discuss this other issue? So I'm watching Dolly, and people are having him bring up this one case. And so naturally, you know, I'm sitting here at the computer watching and listening and doing some research and paperwork. And I'm like, what's this guy's name? So I'm typing the guy's name in. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he is on his name. Jason Dockery is the name that I heard on Dolly Vision. So I'm like, okay, let me look at this. And then I'm like, I don't think this is the one that was sent to me. And so, you know, I'm like, okay. And I didn't go to my phone. I'm going to go to my phone now and see if this is one of the ones that was sent to me. But either way, yeah, he was one of the ones that was sent to me. But there was another person that was sent to me too. And his name was Nassim Rulak, right? So I said, you know what the heck? I'm not going to search these names. I'm just going to search escaped inmates. I want to know which inmates are escaped in this country. Guys, if you're not scared just by that request, I don't know what would make you more scared than seeing a whole bunch of crap popping up on your screen. And you know what's even worse? That year, 2023, whoo! Yeah. Not 2022, not 2021, not 1990, 2023, whoo! Yeah. Jason Dockery is not the only one. We've got Jason Dockery that's out there. We've got, we know about, you know, here it is. No, that was when I was looking for the interview. So we've got, and Jason Dockery is out of Tennessee, and I was hearing that he was bouncing between Virginia and Tennessee. Like, really? Get this guy out. When they come here, they bring their criminal minds with them. Something. And then we got a guy from Alabama that's out here escaped. His name is, where is his name? Christopher Bates. So we have Jason Dockery. We've got Christopher Bates. Is there more? How many more are there? I'm just curious. How many more criminals that are supposed to be behind our bars here in the United States that aren't? Michael, I need your help. A few criminals in the White House. You ain't lying. Let me get my straight face on. That white substance in the Oval Office was just, it was a decoy. It was a decoy. So now we have Christopher Bates out of Alabama that's missing. We have Nassim, is it Nassim Rulak, which is the one that I was sent with me with Jason Dockery. So there's 3. Is there more? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Realize 50-year-old Charles Gore is missing. Is missing from a satellite center, and that's a federal inmate, by the way. The most recent escape in the area, Charles Gore, now serving 10 years on drug-related crimes, including conspiracy to sell H and C. Oh, by the way, guys, these are going on right now. Okay, you know, while we're all looking over at Danelo Cavalcante, which at the end of the day, Danilo needed to be apprehended. Now, a 10-year sentence for drug charges, you know, not the most violent crime in the world. You know, people do die from this. We know that. That's why it's got to be taken as seriously as it is. Yeah, so that is it. I don't know, Skittles. I don't know what's going on in this world. I really don't. But let me just share this because, I mean, you guys, I'm telling you, this is, it's like, remember whenever Summer Wells hit and we found all those children that were just missing from the system, you know? And then that kind of, like now after Danilo, we're realizing we have a majorly flawed system here. How are these people getting out and how are they staying on the run? How many inmates right now are in that are supposed to be in our prison systems that have committed violent crimes that are not in our prison systems? I want the United States government to give me an answer. I think we're all entitled to this answer because remember, the majority of our prisons, our federal and state prisons, are most likely privatized prisons. And granted, this escapee Danilo came from a county prison. Thank God it wasn't privatized. Like I said, I didn't know if it was privatized or not, but either way, oh, that's not supposed to be like that. I screwed something up here. Hold on, guys. One of my little doers is not sticking. I was wondering why this thing's seated wrong. There we go. Maybe that should help. There we go. Sorry, one of my little things on the stand was cattywampus. Cattywampus, new word. I got to be honest with you. You know, I hang out with Olivia. You know, Olivia is, you know, several years my junior, right? We won't say how much, right? We won't say how much. But, and so it's so funny because I've got, you know, old Southern sayings because my family's from the South. Okay, it's from the backwoods of Mayaca City. You know, so we have things like, you know, burn my grits and, you know, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, you know, just stuff. Do you know that the millennials have no clue what that means? I'm serious. The millennials literally have no clue what half of this stuff that comes out of my mouth means. So you know what that tells me? Everybody in my chat's old. Because the millennials don't understand my language. So don't lie. Now we know we're old geezers up in this house. That's why we have to have coffee tapped into our veins just to get us to move because our bodies ache and creak anymore. I tell you what, I woke up this morning. I'm like, what is up with this back pain? Lord bless your little heart. Lisa's back there with her finger up, her middle finger up saying, you may call yourself old Betty, but don't start throwing us all into that group. Don't be throwing us all in that group. So I'm going to open up this. We're going to watch this. I'm sure everybody's watched this under the sun, but we're going to watch it here. And it's the interview with the Marshal. I'm not going to watch all. I'm not an Erin Bennett fan at all. I actually don't like her at all. Don't care for her, anything about her. But either way, she gave a good interview with the U.S. Marshal. And I thought it was really interesting. Actually, you know what I thought was interesting? Before we get into this, I gotta listen. Oh, man, let me read all this. It's an architectural dream, meaning diagonal. I guess that's part of a conversation. Hi, Jen Sunthang. Kiss my grits there. Regina says, kiss my grits. Oh, I love it. I love it. I could go on all day with the Southern talk and sayings. I know, but it's so funny because now Olivia's starting like Olivia's starting to rub off on her. You'll hear her say, "I'll turn my head." She'll say something. I'll turn my head. I said, "That's my saying." She's like, "I know." Oh my gosh, I'm younger than you. That doesn't mean you ain't old. Just because you're younger doesn't mean you ain't old. Let's quit playing word salad. Let's quit playing word salad. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You're as young as you feel. I'm starting to feel old. You know why I'm feeling old? Because I woke up with back pain this morning. Okay, and I know what it is. Is that I've been hunched over on my phone trying to get videos out for days, keeping everybody up to date on Danelo Cavalcante, especially when he broke through the perimeter. I was like, okay, enough's enough. We need to start getting this stuff out. People need to start calling in leads. We need to just start making people notice this case. And it was getting a lot of attention too. It was getting a massive, massive amount of attention. But this guy, I mean, just to think that we put all these resources in this one man. And yes, he is very dangerous, but so are these other people. And we spent all these millions of dollars. And then I'm looking, I just happened to get a text message from a friend, and boom, it's like, how many more are there? And you're looking and you're like, holy crap, guys, like this isn't good. Like, you know, what's the purpose of having prisons if we're going to every single day? And I'm not being facetious. Every single day have an inmate breaking out of our prisons. We had, I want to see how many inmates. Oh, let's see if we can find the numbers for the 2022. Let's see what Google says. Now, you guys know how I feel about Google, right? So it's just as the information in Google is just as accurate as the person entering it. So 2022 escape inmate. Hold on, let's do this a different way. I don't like this. In 2022, how many inmates escaped in the USA? Question mark. Let's see. Okay, the number of escapees from prison in the U.S., and this is 2000 to 2019. I don't really, and that's the census. No, that's not the census. It's a SISTA. So according, and I don't understand this because they said this is, and I don't know if this is DC's. According to DCS annual reports 21 to 22, and this is different. This says only 22 inmates escaped from various prisons around the country. But there was one report that I read that said we had like 400. But you know what? It might have been, I misread it. Maybe I didn't realize it was for several years. But it was something like 485 inmates that escaped. Let's see. Here it is. How many prisoners escape in the U.S. each year? Here it is. Here it is. This is scary. In 2019, much different than what this News 24 is saying, where they're saying that the DCS annual reports for 2021 to 2022 fiscal year, only 22 inmates escaped. However, when you come down here to Statista, I think if I'm saying that right, Statista, it says how many prisoners escape in the U.S. each year. And this says in 2019, 2,231 inmates escaped from state or federal prisons in the United States. This is a decrease from the previous year of 2,351 prisoners that escaped across the United States. That, if true, is alarming numbers to me. Let me share this and let me pull this up so you guys can see what I'm reading here. Because oh, thank you, Angie. God bless you. God bless you. So let me just pull this up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me share the screen. There we go. Pull this up here. See if I can. Okay, so this is the one I was talking about. So that's the first one at the very top. According to DCS, annual reports for 21 to 22 fiscal year, 22 inmates escaped from various prisons around the country. So maybe that's different because they escaped from prison versus jail. Maybe that's the tidbit of information that is different, is that these are various prisons around the country. But I'm not sure if I'm reading that right? But here is this is how many prisoners escaped each year. So this is talking about prisoners as well. And so you can see the big difference in numbers. So which number is correct here? Because this is huge. How many prisoners escape in the U.S. each year? And according to 2019, they're saying 2,231 inmates have escaped from state or federal prisons in the United States. And this is a decrease from the previous year, probably 2018, that had 2,351 prisoners escape from the facilities across the United States. Now, let's see, we have 300, let's say 366 days. Okay, so let's see how this works. I want to see how many escapees we've got on a daily basis. So we're going to use the 2019 numbers of 2231. We're going to divide that by 366 for the days in the year. And we have on average, let me put this up here. We have on average about 6 inmates every single day escaping from our jails here in the United States. I don't know about you. I don't like that number. But I know that some of these numbers have to equate to them not actually physically going through the process of escaping. There's such things as paperwork issues. So what do I mean? I mean that they, like, say there's, for example, let's say there's a Juan Ruiz in, or a John Smith in jail. And there's a few John Smith, common name, and one of the John Smiths is being released. Well, the paperwork grabs the wrong John Smith, and the wrong John Smith is released from jail, while the right John Smith is still in jail. And by that time, the inmate's already gone. They were properly released and walked out the front door. Yes, it does happen. Another thing that happens is sometimes for friends, they switch their armbands. They will switch their armbands. And so why would somebody that's getting out of jail switch their armband and choose to stay in jail? Because eventually they're going to have to be released anyways if it was a mistake, unless they're charged again for switching armbands. But, again, that would have to be provable. They could say they lost their armband. There's a number of things that could go on, but that has been known to happen where there have been people that switch their armbands and one person walks out of the jail. And again, it's just because the people that are doing the paperwork are not, they're overworked and underpaid, and they're not paying attention, or maybe the people look similar in nature. And, if you've been in jail for a significant time, you might have came in there skin and bones and walking out a hefty, dude. So I don't know. So the photos might not always be accurate as well. So I don't know. But there's a lot of people we can at least acknowledge there's a lot of people escaping our jails in this country. And that has got to come to an end. I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a second. I just wanted, before we go on, we're only 39 minutes into our show. The show, we're going to have to keep it right at 2 hours today. I really don't have a whole lot of flexibility in my time. I've got a lot of stuff going on. Plus, I'm going to be leaving to start heading to Tennessee in the next day or two. And for those that is just right now, before we get started, I with the phones opening, I did want to remind everybody we are physically having a boots on the ground search for Layla Santanello in Kingsport, Tennessee. She has not been found. She has been missing since June 27, 2023. Her family is desperately looking for answers. Something happened in and around right before she disappeared. And, you know, we really don't know exactly, you know, what happened, but we know that she was fearful leading up to her disappearing. We know that she was fearful enough that she ran toward the woods. We've learned that she slept in those woods. We learned that multiple people tried to help her, and she just wouldn't tell them what was going on. And then we have a lady over at the Marble Slab Creamery that provided her a drink and just let her use her phone to try to call for help. You know, not help to law enforcement, but help to a friend, call a friend. That we know. And, you know, she went out the door and nobody ever saw her again. You know, from that Marble Slab Creamery, we were told that she was going to get flip-flops. We've learned that she never made it. It was literally on the other side of the complex, and she never made it over to Five Below to get those flip-flops. We learned that. The store employees confirmed that. There is no video footage in East Stone Commons. There's none. There potentially could be a camera that points in some direction from like the Carrabba's or whatever that, maybe it's Olive Garden. There's a couple restaurants, national restaurants at the front of the parking lot. But in that parking lot, there are no cameras. There are no cameras on the outsides of any buildings. The only cameras in that community are from the inside. So if they have a camera that may have a glimpse of the parking lot, that might be, they might be able to find some information from there. But actual cameras in that parking lot, that specific parking lot, there is not. So if there are any kind of camera footage located, you know, angling that way, it would be from a pretty significant distance, like those restaurants at the front of the complex. So there are cameras inside the establishments. So I'm pretty sure that the Marble Slab Creamery actually have Layla Santanello on their interior cameras, because she did come in there and she, you know, did get a drink, and the lady was very, very nice to her. We had an opportunity to meet the lady that gave her nourishment, and we thanked her for, you know, being a kind person and doing what's right. And she said that she could tell that there was just something not right, that she just wanted to help. And that she did. So I just thought that was super, super sweet. But everybody, we are going to be, it's all hands on deck. You know, we can't, when we do these types of searches, we can't guarantee how many people will ever show up. It could be 5 people. It could be 150 people. It could be 2 people. You know, we don't know. But what I would like is that everybody meet. It's going to be September 17th. I think we're going to be meeting at the East Stone Commons right there in front of the Marble Slab Creamery. I think that is the best place. It's got the largest parking lot. It can accommodate, if we do have a larger group, just to get there, because we need to download some things on our phones. We need to have, you know, it's going to be just a little, it's about an hour before we actually physically start searching. I'm going to want everybody there, because we just got to have a chat. You know, we got to have a chat. This is going to be a ground search, and we got to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that everybody knows what to do. So, and that we have the proper stuff downloaded on our phone, because that's going to help us clear these areas and also provide a report. And that's what's going to be necessary, is we're going to be providing a report to law enforcement of the areas that we cleared. So a $60 chip is cheaper than a $16 million manhunt. I agree. But, you know, then we're going to get into that whole PC culture of, you know, we have no right, humanity, blah, 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 blah. Not the fact that these people can come out and just kill us. Even these people that are fighting for these people, these animals to stay alive and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If somebody's got the kahunas to go take somebody out, then they should have the kahunas to be taken out. I'm sorry, you know. It's just one of those things that I'm very, very. It's not a vengeance thing. It's the right thing. It's like it's not a, you know, I want to pay back the person. It's just that you took a life. You know, you don't deserve to be here anymore. The people that deserve to live and breathe and be free are the people that respect other people's rights to live, breathe, and be free. And these people in our prisons aren't. I mean, think about it. We had the conversation about, you know, these prisons are understaffed. No, our prisons are over full. We're not understaffed here. We need to be looking at why our prisons are so full. Is it money? Do we have to have our prisons to capacity for these private organizations to turn a profit? I think prisons and lengthy prison sentences should go to the worst of the worst. Our petty criminals, I'm not in this, you violate the law 3 times, you're a felon. What? Why do you want to go out of your way to house these people for years and years and years? If you got to 6-month them for 20 freaking years, then 6-month them for 20 freaking years. Furthermore, these petty crimes shouldn't even be in our prison systems. Our petty criminals should be in work camps and working. I don't see any reason why somebody stealing a Snickers bar needs to be housed with somebody that are a kid. Make that make sense to me. Don't even get me started on our prison systems here. But prisons, 10 years more should only be for the worst of the worst. Unless you've spent a day in freaking prison, you shouldn't be prescribing 10-year sentences because somebody stole a $20 necklace. It's only for the worst of the worst, the people that harm our children, the people that like to kill and prey on our people here under this country. Those are the people that deserve prison. Those are the people that deserve, and you start reorganizing our criminal justice system and start making our petty criminals get off their asses and go out there and work from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. You're going to find a change in them. Guess what? Because it's a positive change they have to do every single day for 2 solid years. Trust me, when they get out, that will continue. But I'm sick and tired of hearing 2,000 people are escaping our prisons and jails across this country every year. Something is majorly wrong. We're not overstaffed. We're overpopulated. And my question is why? Unless all those people in prison are ours and murderers, then we got a lot of people in prison that don't need to be there for those extended sentences. I'm sorry. We need to give them education. We need to give them a different way of life. Giving them the same old is only going to produce the same old. All right. My 2 cents. Don't spend it all in one place. Don't spend it all in one place. Now let's get these phones open. Let's get these phones open. We need to hear from some people. I'm sick of hearing myself talk today. My back is hurting. I want some help. I need to go to the store. I got to get some more Aleve. I have killed the bottle of ibuprofen. I can tell you that. Okay, let me see. Where's my? I think we got this open. All right. Let me make sure I got it on. All right, the phones are open. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know what you think of. Well, you know what? This is not going to be a political crusade by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we can all agree something's going on here. And what's the solution? What's the solution? I certainly do not know what the solution is, other than we've been doing this long enough that we're realizing it's not working, and we can continue to throw more and more people in prison But you know what? It's still not fixing a damn thing. Because this catch and release is nonsense, because you guys are overpopulating our prisons with unnecessary prisoners. These people, you know what? I don't know what to say. This is Betty.
Good morning, crotch sniffing coffee clubbers.
Hello, Miss Ruby.
How are you?
Trying to get my fix of coffee.
Oh, oh my goodness! I just wanted to kind of tell a short story. I've been through criminal justice college, and in my corrections class, at the end of the year, we had to visit 2 prisons, and we had to watch 2 prison movies. Mm-hmm. And we had to do this big long article where we wrote about each prison we went to, and then we had to write about the 2 movies that we watched and do a comparison to real life prison to the movies, and mm-hmm. it was a hard and complicating ordeal to do. But anyway, I've been to the death chamber. Mm-hmm. Here in Arkansas, been to death row, and it's quite an experience. But I was going to tell you about several years ago, this guy that I knew when I was growing up. This kid, his mom was, to put it politely, his mother was the town crackho, mm-hmm. and he was in and out of jail, and I even had to call the cops on him one time for harassing me outside my apartment. And it was a big old mess. I come down there and chased him all over the woods, and finally caught him, put him in the cop car, and he was kicking and screaming, and it was all kinds of crazy. But he ended up escaping from jail one time. They had brought him from the Arkansas prison he was in to the county jail for a court date. Mm-hmm. And he slipped out of his handcuffs and escaped. And like I said, I knew this kid, knew this guy. And I was talking to one of my friends who had been a longtime police officer in our hometown. And he and I were still close and still good friends. And I told him, I was like, I really wish you were out there helping them find him, because I know if anybody could find him, you could. And he's like, Amy, I can't get out there and run and gun no more with these guys. And I said, you don't have to. Mm-hmm. I said, this kid better than anyone. All of us kids from that era. He'll come back home, and his thoughts. Mm-hmm. People don't understand when you live in a small town and you deal with small town police officers and stuff. They know the town's kids as well as they know their own. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, that was one major manhunt, and they did end up finding him. And guess what? He did come right back home. And that's exactly where they found him, was back in Saline County.
Yeah, I wonder, they threw a lot of resources after Danelo Cavalcante. So I really have to believe that the reason why they chose to throw this many resources after this guy versus all these other guys, like we just read 3 or 4 different other escaped inmates that are loose in our country literally right now. As we're sitting here today, we've got several mm-hmm. inmates that are loose in our country that should be behind jail. But why I think they put him and put so much manpower for this guy is that he was just recently convicted, and the victim's family lived in the area. And I think that put mm-hmm. them on a higher level of concern, because I think that they thought this man was going to get revenge.
Oh, most doubt. And he's a very dangerous criminal. Yeah. And that was the thing with Rodney. Rodney was very dangerous. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I knew this boy when he was a kid. and I had to call the cops on him for harassing me. And Lord, he was trying to kick out the back windows of the cop cars and stuff when Bradbury and them finally caught him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going back to where was it? He was screaming, I'm not going back to Tucker, or I don't remember, because I think he was in Tucker Max.
Mm-hmm.
Screaming, I'm not going back to Tucker.
But you got to think about this as well. I mean, you know, there are things, we all hear the things that go on behind these prison walls. They're not, it's not a joke, you know, people are, you know, they do joke about like, they're going to make you their BITC, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But that's no joke. I mean, at the end of the day, that's taking a man's, you know, they're already done horrible things. I don't prescribe to abuse. I don't just, you know, I am a DP, pro DP person, but I don't prescribe to torture and abuse. And I feel like these people are escaping because they're not, I have to think, you know, we don't want it comfortable in prison. Okay, period. I don't want anybody wanting.
No, and I think it is a little too comfortable for some people.
But is it? I mean, there are things that are going behind that go on in jail that should not be going on in jail. And this is where I have a big problem with them commingling nonviolent offenders with violent offenders. There is no business for a nonviolent offender to ever be housed with a violent offender. That is a recipe.
Absolutely. Because there was actually another escape that had happened back in the 90s sometime or whatever, and they were two violent offenders, and they had what they did and how they got out reminded me of what this guy did. This how do you pronounce his name? Cavalcante.
Cavalcante.
Okay, whatever you said.
Like gavel, caval, and then like Conti, like Picante, Conti.
Yeah.
Cavalcante.
We'll just call him Picante.
We'll just call him Mr. C.
Like picante sauce. But yeah, I mean, and you know, that was the thing with Rodney. Rodney was dangerous. He was very dangerous. I knew a girl that he ended up having a baby with, and he wrote her a letter from prison in his own blood.
Yeah.
And how that ever got out of the prison, I'll never know. But
yeah, there's things that go on in there that I have to think that there are some people that want to escape from, you know, and they have no voice. You got to think about it. Like, even if there is abuse going on in these prisons, they have no voice. They can't talk to people about it. You know, they have these telephone numbers. If you're in prison, you know, reach out, we'll get you help. But you know what? They make sure that they don't talk to press. They make sure that they stop the information. They can contain it and keep it from getting out. And I've got a problem with that. And then every time we start digging in or we send record requests, they start claiming privacy as the reason not fulfilling record requests. I'm over it. You tell us what the heck is going on inside these prisons, because I'm telling you, I'm starting to be very concerned. We've got 2,000 people at minimum escaping them every single year here in the United States. That's unacceptable numbers. The level of people in these jails is unacceptable numbers. We are not staffed. We are overpopulated in our jails. Something has to be done, and there should never be a non-violent offender ever housed with violent offenders, period. Changes have to happen, and changes need to happen across this country.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that also that, you know, even though some of these kids, such as Ethan Crumley, you know, commit horrible acts of violence, he's still a 15, 16-year-old kid. And I don't like the idea of him being thrown into an adult prison, because I'm going to tell you, Jason Baldwin, who was the youngest of the West Memphis Three, he was 16 when they were convicted. You remember me telling you about my friend that walked in and caught his wife in bed with another man, and
you
killed them both? Okay, well, he had to end up standing up and start protecting Jason in prison because he was just people were abusing him, the guards.
You're bringing up another valid point that needs to be a point of contention. Height and weight requirements need to be realized as well. Even like with Ethan Crumbley, you know, he is a violent offender, and quite frankly, he deserves to be put away with violent offenders, no different than anybody else. But I don't think that he needs to be housed with people that are 6 feet tall and 300 pounds. I'm sorry, there needs to be some type, this whole fairness and PC garbage culture that's going on where we got to treat it. No, you need to have the big hefty guys in a big hefty cell. When they want to tear each other apart, at least it's a fair fight. And you put the little people with little people. I mean, come on. Let's be reasonable and responsible here. We don't need Big Bertha with Pee Wee Herman in jail. That's, again, a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. But that's what it took was, you know, lifers like Charlie to stand up for and have to protect Jason.
His job. Let's be honest. That's not his job. It's the prison's job. It's not
right, but it was the prison that was abusing him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's again my problem. My problem. It's this whole privacy thing is a way for these prisons to get away with a lot of stuff that they should not be getting away with. I'm sorry. You know, I am a law and order person. I back the blue. But I don't mind calling crap out. I've never liked our criminal justice.
Right, I'm the same way.
I've never liked it. I think it's wholly unfair. You know, everybody's screaming. Well, you know, they made all these standardized sentencing. Sorry, no, I don't even believe in standardized sentencing. I think each and every case should be based upon the merits of the case and the information within that case. I don't think that just because you murder somebody, that you should automatically be sentenced to life. I want to know why you did it and what the good excuse is. And if you have a reasonable excuse, like you have been abused for the last 20 years, and you knew if you didn't do it today, that he was going to do it to you tomorrow. Now, that I can understand. That is a reasonable explanation. You did something wrong and you need to pay for that, but you don't need to spend the rest of your life in jail, nor do you need to be worrying about DP. You were protecting yourself.
Right. Yeah, I always, you know, I take on each case and I look at each case differently. I look at, you know, the victims differently, the perpetrators differently. I try to take each case and it's like a problem and put that problem in front of me and figure out the best solution for that problem. And I may not always feel the same way about another similar case as I do, you know, case A. I may not feel as same about someone else you know, committing the same crime. I may have, you know, just completely different feelings. So I always just look at all these cases and put them in front of me and, you know, figure that out at the time. And like I said, I may not always have the same opinion in each and every case.
Well, I can tell you over the years, my opinion has changed wildly. I mean, you know, from being a young girl, very naive, and you know, my 20-year-old self is a much different person than my 44-year-old self. I can tell you that, and I think it's the life lessons and experiences that eventually are the reasons we make the decisions that we do. Each of us have different experiences and life lessons, so therefore, you know, we're all going to be dealing with different things in different ways because even those lessons are different to each of us in their own way. They can be the same exact lesson, you know, but each of us internalize it differently because we're all individuals.
Right. But yeah, I just wanted to tell, you know, my little story about
I'm glad you did.
The guy escaping and stuff. You know, our prisons here in Arkansas have a lot of employee turnover. I mean, I've known a lot of the guys that worked at the prison, at some of the different prisons around here, especially the one that's closest to me. And I've known a lot of guys that work there, and it's like every time I turn around and I run into them again, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, well, I'm working so-and-so. And, you know, they have a lot of turnover. And, you know, we're also in that generation.
And that's the problem with these private corporations. Their employees are numbers. You know, they're not required, you know, our government running these things, they're required to give them, you know, overtime. They're required to give them benefits. They're required to give them all these things. And when they're privatized, the privatized company can treat these correctional officers like crap. And, you know, when you privatize prisons, they're bottom line people. They don't care about their employees. They care about their bottom line. It's just I don't like the whole way our criminal justice system has metamorphosed. I just don't like it.
Oh, you know? Lord, girl, me neither. That's a whole nother topic for another day and a long conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because we are all opinionated on it. And listen, at the end of the day, the bad guys need to be off the street. The bad guys need to be off the street, but there's a lot of people out here that have drug problems, that are petty crimes, that are dealing with some really, really tough sentences compared to the crimes that they did. And they're being put in prisons and housed with violent offenders that will most definitely abuse them. And they're in a dangerous situation because they're non-violent. They're not a violent person. They're not going to defend themselves in prison against Big Bubba. I mean, this is unfair. I don't care how you look at it. It's unfair. You want to talk about inhumane? Look at our freaking prison systems. Don't be telling me that the DP, trust me, you know, compared to what they have to live with there, DP is probably a prize to some of these people. Let's be honest.
Right. You know, some of these, one of the things that I learned in, I learned it in corrections, and I learned it before, is that some of these people, especially in the juvenile system, I had an old boyfriend that worked at the juvenile place here in Arkansas, and he told me that most of the kids out there are repeat offenders. Because they have it better there than they have it at home.
Yeah, well, even like for the homeless population. I mean, the homeless population, when it starts becoming winter, they've been known to go into a store and steal in front of the clerk just to be arrested, to go to jail, to get out of the cold elements. Our police officer, our sheriff has, you know, that comes to our county meetings and explains this. You know, we do have a level of homeless population that does this just to be housed for the winter, and it's sad. It's sad that you have to commit a crime and be arrested just to get some shelter for the winter months. Like that's. To me, it seems like we should be like, that has to be costing our county and counties across the country millions and millions of dollars. It seems like they would find a resolution to that.
I know. There's, you know, you look around and you see so many old motels or old apartment buildings, you know, and things that there's just absolutely nothing being done with, because everybody wants to build bigger, build better. And it's like, well, what do we do with all this?
You know what? My friend Glenn here in Manatee County, I love him. He's an old biker activist here, and he fights to turn like our old abandoned schools into shelters for our homeless vets. He's been peppering it for, I mean, I've been involved with him since, I want to say 2018 or 19, something like that. And I can tell you that he's been pounding that for ever since I remember. I remember when I got into the politics stuff, and I reached out to all the activists in the community, and I got to tell you, all their advice was the same. It didn't matter what side of the aisle they came from. You know what they told me? Before you getting started, you need to go to your school board and go to their budget meetings. He's like, you want to see a shit show? He goes, go to the school board budget meetings. They haven't even produced all the budgets. You know, like, I think we only have 6 months. Every single one of them told me that's where I need to wet my feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, and you know, been to many city council meetings and quorum court meetings, and them things can get nasty.
They can get nasty, but you start seeing some of the issues that go on and how funding happens and stuff like that. I can tell you, when it comes to this county, I will be up there fighting for any type of funding when it comes to my sheriff, Rick Wells. I got to tell you, I will fight. I will go to the mattress to make sure he gets all the funding that he needs for whatever he needs, because one, I truly believe in him and he's responsible. I've never seen Rick ever ask our community more than he needed. He's very responsible. He's very, budget oriented. And if he says he needs something, he come hell or high water, he's getting it. I mean,
well, see, now why couldn't I find good people like that to work with? My former mayor, the former sheriff, and the former police chief hate my guts.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of people here that hate my guts. I mean, don't get me wrong. I step on toes. Trust me. What I do out here is I've been stepping on toes for years. I'm a professional toe stepper.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because the police chief who I won't get into the whole story, but tried to call a truce with them because I had to accept that he was my police chief, and because I lived in the city limits, that's who I had to deal with, was the city police and the city police chief. Even though the sheriff, he was another story, and we finally ran him out of town, but not before I ended up walking away from politics completely. I said, this is it. I've had it. I am not going to be treated like this. I had to walk away after the crap they tried to do to me. You know
what? I'm kind of in the same realm, because I really I've had it with, I work very hard to help establish the county commission that we have, but there's just been so many things that have been going on behind the scenes that have just really just ticked me off. And it's like, it's hard because I've got a lot to say. And when I'm ready to say it, I'm pretty sure my county commissioners are probably going to be fit to be tied, but I'm absolutely have had it with a lot of the conduct that has happened. And the moment of me coming back to the county commission is going to be coming up. And I don't think they're going to like what I have to say, because I've sat back and I've watched what they've been doing. I've watched some of the shenanigans going on. And these are people that assured me that this type of crap wouldn't happen when they were running for office. And here we are. And I know.
Nope. Don't believe them, Andrew.
And then now you're going to start cutting our trash. You're going to start cutting our trash service to once a week instead of twice a week, and stuff like that. Lord. Like, now we're starting to reduce services for our community. When we hired you, it was to make better services, better, I'm sorry, but once a week trash, I'm a single person. I don't know how once a week trash is going to do anything for me. I can't imagine a house full of 4 or more. Their trash cans are going to be overflowed.
I live by myself and still have just as much trash and stuff as I did at home with 2 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know where it all comes from, but I just do.
Yeah, my recycle, and I can tell you, because my recycle only comes once a week, and I can tell you by the time my recycle comes, my top is like open. I can't even shut the top on my garbage can because it's so full.
Oh, yeah.
No. Anyways, Ruby, it was nice catching up with you, love.
Yeah, you too. When are y'all going to decide the winner of the contest?
It was supposed to be today. Well, it was supposed to be Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday, then now we're on Thursday. So I have a funny feeling it probably won't be until Monday of this next week. I haven't even looked at this. I've still got to go through all my emails and make sure I didn't miss any. And it's just, hopefully I'll have time today, later this afternoon, but I can't even make that much of a promise because I've got to pack up and I got to get out of here. I'm going up to Tennessee.
Yeah, I wish I could come, but I got another procedure scheduled for next week. I'm having to go through getting my left lumbar radio frequency nerve burning stuff done.
Yeah.
On the left side of my lumbar, and I went Tuesday for the test injections, and then they do then they have to do a next set, and then they do the burn. It's kind of complicated, but anyway, and they schedule those a week and 2 weeks apart. So
yeah, we got a lot of people undergoing surgery here, so everybody just say a prayer for our coffee club family, and hopefully everybody gets through everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Karen, she's been in a lot of pain. I hate hearing, but surgery's painful, but hopefully the end result is no pain. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and prayers for everybody all the way around.
Definitely. But you don't, listen to me, Andrea, don't walk away, though, until it's over with your county and you've had the last word, because once everything was over and we finally got rid of that mess out of the mayor's office and out of the sheriff's office and all that, I walked away. And
I'm going to be starting. This is the calm before the storm, because we've got an election year coming up in 2024. So it's 2023. I mean, we're coming October, November. I'm going to be back to juggling the political side as well as the true crime side. So we're just going to have to make do. I'm just, when I go places, I cover whatever crime's going on in the places I got to go.
Yeah.
That's really how that's how I end up working it. And it's work for us. It's, work for the channel. It's work for me personally. And we get a lot of different types of crime cases that we would normally cover by doing it that way. I think it was, people enjoyed that a couple years ago when we were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's several cases that I've covered that these people are all just sitting in jail. And I look, once a week, once every few weeks or so, I start going down the list and saying, okay, has anybody got a court date coming up? Anybody going to trial yet?
And listen to this. And then I'll have to go. I'm going to open the lines up to somebody else. Cash Gurnan still has not gone forward yet. They still have that. Wow. They still have the suspect in the psych ward saying he's unfit to stand trial. It's been like 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah. Look at Megan Boswell, and then we've got Gloria Williams and Brian Coulter, and then the kids that they unalived, and in Houston, Texas. There's 2 or 3 cases in Houston, Texas that are awaiting trial, and several others.
Yeah, look at it. So Letitia could if Letitia Stout could go to court, and Lori Vallow Daybell can go to court, it's time to bring this man to court and time to get justice.
Right. Instead of dragging.
Those women were a little crazy.
Delayed justice. I bless his heart, little JJ's grandparents and what they have been through, and they've still got to go through it again, waiting on Chad to go to trial and everything.
I just feel so bad that Chad's children are so brainwashed that they think that their father is just this innocent man. He's not innocent. That man is disgusting.
No.
I feel bad for the kids because, it's their father. We were dealing with that with Buster Murdaugh as well. But
yeah.
At some point, like I don't know if I'm just unique or something.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but you got to face it at some point.
Yeah, and that's
I've had to do it.
I don't know if if I'm just a horrible person or not, which a lot of my haters are going to say, oh, you're just a horrible person. But I really don't care. But at the end of the day, I don't know if now, could I stand by my family member that has done horrible things? Of course, I could always be a rock and supporter. I can do that without agreeing with what they did. I understand that, but knowing that they did something and intentionally lying to myself and other people and acting like they didn't, I would choose to remain silent in a situation like that as opposed to lying And that's where I'm having my problem with Alec Murdaugh. It's the lies. With this, it's the lies. You know, it's just, I don't know. All right, hon. I'll let you go.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Everybody have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we got some insight with our beautiful Ruby. So it's nice. You don't agree, but you still love. Exactly. You still love them. And, you know, you don't lie for them. You don't dig the grave. You don't burn after reading. You know, you explain to them that what they did was wrong and that you're there to support them out of love, that you do not agree with them and you're not going to go to bat for them. But you want them to know that somebody understands that you're there for them. There's nothing wrong with that. But this whole perception that we can just, you know, go and help somebody that's done something very, very despicable. No. And I'm sick and tired of watching law enforcement allowing it to slide. If you start letting like the laundries, if you would have arrested them, it may have prevented another parent from helping their children, in my opinion. Possibly, potentially. This is Betty.
Good morning, Betty.
Good morning. Who's this?
It's Regina.
Oh, Regina. Hey, honey. I can't. I don't save phone numbers, so I
know. My voice assistant. I know. I've got something to say, if you don't mind, about the legal system and the judicial system. The problems of our judicial system start at the very core of it. The people that we have enforcing judicial laws don't even know the four most basic. As a matter of fact, the first 4 amendments of the Constitution, which are the first 4 actual laws written in our country, and those were written for protection of the people. It starts with the fundamental ideology of let's put them all in prison and make their lives miserable, nonviolent criminals and stuff, you know, and we put them in there with actual violent offenders and stuff, and it makes them violent offenders because they have to learn how to fight those people while they're in there, and then there's no redemption of them ever having a normal life outside of prison again. Yes. I mean, it's, and then we have to look at the fact that our prison system is no longer for the protection of the people. It is a corporation making money. That is why we have all these people that have, okay, it's not right. It's not right that you can get traffic tickets and be put in prison for 3 years for those fines. It's not right.
Let me know somebody that's in prison for traffic fines, and I promise you I will take my bullhorn, and everybody on YouTube can take it and shove it where the sun don't shine, but I will be out there protesting. I'm sorry, but enough's enough. We need responsibility here in our justice system as well. Not just our justice system. You know, I think for the most part, a lot of judges, for the most part, take their responsibility, you know, to heart. They work their entire life to get to where they are being a judge, and they take that very, very, very seriously. But, you know, I still think that there are some judges that are heavy-handed because they don't understand what kind of sentencing they are giving a person. And not only that, but once it gets past that sentencing, it goes to the Department of Corrections. And this is where I have a problem. The Department of Corrections should be isolating the violent people from the nonviolent people. They should never, ever, ever be coexisting. And when you find out that there is a nonviolent criminal that is violent, then you transfer them. You transfer them to a different pod that can handle their mentality. But you need to start making sure that the nonviolent people that don't want to be abused, don't want to have to fight for their lives, are segregated from the ones that don't mind it. I'm sorry. There's some big guys out there that like to be the king of the prisons. Fine. Go be the king of the prisons in Dorm D.
Right. Be in there, at least level the playing field of the people that are having to be grouped up together.
Right. And I want the people that can be a success to have every opportunity to be a success. And the way that they've got this designed is that everybody's a freaking failure. They have no opportunities to ever get out from under this nonsense. It's a losing situation. The prisons for me is to lock the hardcore people that will never change away. The people that can change don't deserve jail. I'm sorry. If you can change, that's the last place you need to go.
Yeah. And here's something else. We lock people up for things by the hordes that don't really affect the rest of the populace as long as they're not pushing, like, okay, I'm sorry, but I don't see the point in pulling someone over with a little bag of weed in their car and putting them in prison for 10 years over having marijuana.
I agree with
They
you.
haven't. You know what I'm saying? I don't see any justice in that whatsoever.
There is
All you do is take someone that has, and this is the truth. You know it is, Betty, in most of these cases. The first time for a drug charge, and you're going down. You're going to spend time in prison.
Yeah.
Especially for a Schedule I drug.
Yeah.
We put these people in prison that have harmed nobody else, literally have never physically hurt another person, that ain't even stealing. If you look at it, if you really want to get into it, even if they're selling weed, they're not stealing from nobody. They're making a legit living.
Yeah. And I understand the drug aspect, but think about it. What did you just? Let's take the weed dealer, okay, for an example. Let's take that as a perfect example. If he's doing that for a living, obviously he doesn't have the skills to provide himself a living. How is throwing that man in jail going to fix that problem for him? However, you throw him into a work camp where he's required to get his butt up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go out there and work an all-day job and not come back until 9 o'clock at night. You do that for a good year or two with that same individual. You've got a man coming out of there that has the skills at least to get his butt up out of bed in the morning and to go do a hard day's worth of work and come back and sleep in that same very bed. If nothing more, that's what you just accomplished. Definitely would not have done that in jail.
That is exactly what I was coming around to. There need to be certain things that are not of the criminal level, but are more of the welfare level of the people that need to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of focusing on actually fixing the problem, what we're doing is we're making a profit off of the problem. And whenever we make a profit off of the problem, the system becomes even more corrupt. And whenever the system becomes corrupt, there is no justice.
Why do you think our politics is corrupt? Do you guys realize that when the America was formulated, the people, the governors, the congressmen, everybody in our government, not one person was paid one single dime. They did that because they believed in the betterment of our country. It wasn't until our politicians started realizing, hey, let's make the taxpayers pay for us. And that was the turn of people doing the right thing in our country to doing whatever they can for a profit. And now you know why Nancy Pelosi has 15 freaking multi-million-dollar mansions. I'm being facetious for the exact police out there. But that's corruption is bred when you bring money involved, period.
Our laws are no longer for the people. They're for the betterment of the people writing those laws.
Mm-hmm.
And their affiliates.
Yeah.
It's become oppression instead of progression of the people. It's become it's a trap.
Yeah. But we definitely need, I think the good news is with social media, we can make this a front seat issue, because I honestly believe that no matter what side of the argument or side of the aisle you're on politically, whether you're an independent, whether you're right, left, in between, yellow with green polka dots, I think that we all can agree that the criminal justice system is not working. We can all agree that it is obviously overpopulated and understaffed. Something's got to give, and we can all be going and demanding our states explain this to us.
See, I can't agree, though, that it's understaffed. I think the problem is they're staffing it with the wrong people for the wrong reasons.
Well, that's a good perspective, and you probably are. It probably is a combination. Maybe it's either understaffing in some areas, it's lack of training in other areas. But I do think that there has to be something. But I do agree with you. I think it's definitely more than just one issue.
We have too many We have too many people in uniform writing traffic citations and not enough people investigating and solving real crimes.
Right, right. And you know what? And our officers here have to write those citations because we pulled our traffic, our ticket cameras out of here. Sorry, you're going to do your job and you're going to do it the old-fashioned way. And that was something that I worked on, and one of my county commissioners got behind me and supported it and just took the ball and ran with it. And now we have no more traffic cameras in this county. We have traffic cameras. We have no more ticket cameras. Red light cameras. Wow. That's what they call them.
Around here, I live in Arkansas, and now we have cameras everywhere for the everything. I mean, and drones. I mean, it's they're watching you.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, this day and age, they're foolish not to, you know, like we always talk about Big Brother. Like, I don't like Big Brother. I don't like knowing that somebody's watching me. But the problem is we've allowed them into our privacy for, 25 years now without, understanding what we were doing. And it's like, they've already been tracking us. Now because we've gotten comfortable with it. Now we want that feature in our car. We want Google in our car. We want all these data mining companies and apps in our car. So, at the end of the day, we did it to ourselves and we welcome it, but it's a good thing. Like, if something happens, at least they can now start pinpointing where we're at.
Well, Betty, I do landscaping. I'm the person in charge of the landscaping and the beautification of the outside of our church. I handle all that.
I need some landscaping.
I'm the person that takes. I love it. I love growing things. My house is a jungle, and a mini zoo. And I was dropping off some supplies, right behind my church, taking it out of my car and loading it one night. And there was a few potted plants I wanted to get in the ground. It was just fixing to start getting dark, but I knew I had enough time to get it done. And before it was all said and done, but I noticed while I was there was a drone. Mm-hmm. Someone was watching, and it was making me uncomfortable. And you could tell anybody that watched me for 30 seconds knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They knew I wasn't breaking in. They knew I wasn't stealing anything. I mean, come on, I was unloading the back of my car and putting it beside the church in bins. You know what I mean? And I called the police department, and do you know what they told me? That's us.
What do they say?
They were watching me to see if I was burglarizing the church. And I was like, you couldn't figure it out within a few minutes?
That's fun. Did I tell you? Because this is right when I first came out on YouTube and everybody was attacking me. And like they were sending people, like, it was just weird. It was weird. And I was feeling very uncomfortable. And so my neighbor, and, I put my neighbors on high alert that if anybody's, around the house or anything like that. And so my neighbor next door calls me and they're like, there's a freaking drone. I'm like, what do you mean a drone? They're like, there's a drone hovering over your house. I'm like, what do you mean there's a drone hovering? So I'm getting up, I'm in pajamas, I mean, nothing's really, I'm not going outside without putting everything in its place. Right. So I go outside and I'm like, well, where's this drone? And he's like, oh, it's gone. And I said, well, how big was it? He goes, oh, this was a big drone. I said, a big drone. And he's like, yeah, it's had a massive camera on it. I said, where's it? He goes, I don't know. He goes, it's got to be around here somewhere. He's like, it had to come from somewhere. And I said, so how big was it? He goes, I don't know. It had 6 propellers. I said, 6 propellers? Jeez, like, what the heck is going on here? So I get in my car.
It needed some lift. It was for heavy lift, had all those propellers.
It was Florida Power and Light checking our lines. And here I am having heart palpitations. And this thing was massive. This thing stood like 2.5 feet off the ground. It was huge.
Oh my goodness. Whew.
It was huge. I was scared. They're using drones for everything. So go ahead.
Right. I probably would have peed my pants.
But it was right when I first came out and everybody was attacking me here on TikTok and they were making me feel so uncomfortable and so scared for, everything. They were sending people to my house, sending people to my sister's house. It was just really a nightmare. And then I hear this drone is above my head and I'm like, these people are just, that's the first thing I did find them. They're like, oh no, we're contracted through Florida Power. I said, why didn't you guys send some email? I said, don't you guys worry about people's privacy? I said, I'm telling you, you're lucky I didn't shoot the damn thing out of the sky. Like, well, you'd have been $60,000. I don't give a rat's ass.
Well, I keep my shotgun in my house, so I couldn't shoot the one out of the sky at the church. So,
I mean, you have this massive cannon in the sky looking at your house. I mean, I think it's going to make anybody a little, just a tad bit uncomfortable.
it's unnerving.
Yeah.
It's unnerving. So, but check your email. I sent you an email.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will as soon as I'm wrapped up here, which we're wrapping up here in just a few moments. And then I'll go check the emails and get back to you. So
also that's completely, because of the circumstance, it's completely at your discretion. I respect whatever you think.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll check it out and give you a response.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll talk to you later. You have a blessed day. Everybody, y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you for calling in, Regina.
Thank you, Betty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, sweet, so sweet. Let's see if I can answer. There we go. This is Betty.
Good morning, Betty. This is Lori Lowe.
Hey, Lori. How are you, love?
I'm good. I know you're hanging up. Hi, everyone in the chat. I have to tell you just one quick thing.
Sure.
When you were talking about like Big Brother watching us, now I really do believe people that have nothing to hide nothing, and we're, we should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like unbelievable. We're closing on our home right near you. I'll be there soon. But anyway, so we went out to celebrate. And okay, I had a little too much to drink, right? So we're in the parking lot and they're saying, Lori, give Andrew the keys. And I'm like, he drives, I got a little sports car. I go, he drives like a truck driver. He drives a truck. So I'm like, I'm weighing it out. I'm right down the block from my house and I'm weighing it out. Do I want to put brakes on this Mercedes or do I want to get a ticket? Which is cheaper?
Yeah.
So everybody was like, Lori, give him the keys. Stop it. So I go, all right. I get in the car. I'm sitting in the passenger seat. He's in the driver's. We're all leaving. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a voice comes over my phone and says, ma'am, is the gentleman driving? And I look at him and I said, who's this? This is 911. I said, excuse me? I said, what do you mean this is 911? I said, yeah, he's in the car. How do you know? He says, we have been listening. We want to make sure you get home safely. Make sure he drives home.
I would be freaking the F out. I'm sorry.
I would like, you got to be effing kidding. Like, what is going on? I shut my phone. I shut it down and I said, now this has gone a little bit too far. I said, I don't believe this. I said, so now went from that moment on, every time, now I have nothing to hide. I'm an upstanding citizen. I've never been in trouble. I pay my taxes, leave me alone. Find the bad guys. I don't really care. When it comes to these iPhones, I am here to tell you, and everyone that's in that chat, when you're talking personal, like you want to do your stocks, you want to do whatever you're doing personally, you people better shut your phones off, because I am promising you, they are listening to everything. And I was like, that was a wake up call where I turned around and I was really peed off. I really was, because how did they know?
Yeah.
Like, how did they know?
And
I was like a mile down the block. I was in a restaurant with a bar, my girlfriend bartends, and we were at a restaurant. We were just celebrating the sale of our house here, the closing over there. We were just celebrating, and she got a little tipsy. He was not drinking. We're very responsible. I'm not even a drinker, which is why I probably got drunk, because I don't drink usually. But and I usually drive, because if he wants a beer, he has a beer. He doesn't have to worry. I drive my car.
Right.
Nobody drives my car but me. He don't even pull it out of the garage, because he brakes on it, because he drives a truck. So he drives. I said, I'll need brakes. It's like over $500 per brake on this car, So I was like kidding, and I'm going, did I give it to him? What's more money, my brakes or a ticket? And then I'm thinking, all right, I'll let them drive. And they were listening over the phone.
I would be freaking out, and that is so uncomfortable, because it's like, what if you did say something, and what? Not only that, but here you are buying a Mercedes. What if you were conspiring criminal activity? I mean, that's in all fairness. I mean, if you want to flip it on the other side, they have no right to hear that. I'm sorry, they just don't.
Well, I know. Like I said, there's no way with these cameras, with everything. I mean, listen, I'm old school. So when they were talking about, even before, when I lived in New York, they were putting the cameras up. I'm like, you're opening Pandora's box. You let this happen, there goes all your privacy as a citizen of the United States. I am sorry. You don't allow this. You let those cops pull you over. If you're speeding, let them get out of the car, give you a ticket, get a point on your license. I just don't believe in it. But now they allowed it. So now everything across the board, they opened Pandora's box. And I'm old now. I'm going to be 60 this year. So I'm like, thank God I don't have any kids. I live my life. I don't care. I'm at the point where, what am I going to do? I am not going to change the world and myself, because everyone, this new generation, privacy, and, everything is on the phones, and
we have no privacy. We don't know. We don't even know to the tune of what our phones do and don't do. We trust that they're not recording every conversation. We trust that.
Yeah, like we were sitting and I've never used Verbo or Vimbo, whatever that is, that other Airbnb. And we were just sitting out here by the pool one night talking about it. And my girlfriend said, no, Lori, you got to try this. Don't do your timeshare. Do this. Get rid of your time. So we were just talking about it. My phone was just on the table, and I went on like Facebook after that. And the first ad that showed up on my feed was from VRBO. Or
told you, and we talk about that on this show. I'm like, don't you guys think it's funny that you're looking for floral print and all of a sudden you get an ad from Walmart with the floral print?
Yeah, I don't go on Facebook. I shut down Facebook. I mean, I still have a page, but I never go on anymore. That's when I started coming on YouTube. I'm only on YouTube from Gabby Petito. That's it. I found all of you from Gabby Petito. But I have never been on Facebook, again, like here and there, but just to look or to talk to someone. But other than that, I don't do it anymore. And now we practice. We take our phones when we're in my house, we shut them down at a certain time, and we discuss our plan of action for our life. We don't anybody that comes in, I'm like, listen, put your phone down. You want to hang out or something, but close your phone. If this is a conversation, you need to close your phone. And they don't want to do it. That's their prerogative. I don't care. I shut mine down. I shut it down because I can't not believe that they called me. They called me. I could not believe it. A voice came out of nowhere. I went, yeah. How do you know? How do you know he's in the?
I don't know. I'd have been a little livid if an officer just comes on my recorder. It's like, wait a minute, how did you get on here, and why are you on?
I asked him that. I said, how did you know this? And then because I got punched like a little hit, like shut up, from my friend, because he was like, Lori, you don't, because I'm a mouth. I'm a mouthpiece. Yeah. I don't stop. They call me relentless here because I fight for what's right here. I don't care. And he said, Lori, you'll have them come and they gave us a warning. Just stop. And I said, because I was going to say, who the hell are you to track me like this? I was ready to get the New York Tube out and really go off on him. And he said, you got alcohol in your system. This is no time to be fighting with an officer. He said, just shut up and hang up.
Yep.
And I said, yes.
That would be the advice I would have. You have the right to remain silent and to hang up this phone.
Right. He said, yeah. My Andrew said, well, just hang up the phone. He's like, this is not the time. And I'm like, all right. Because I was ready to unleash, and I said, I talked about it for days. So I'm just giving that heads up. I never thought that it would happen like that. I knew they were listening because I shut the phone. So I knew that they were listening with all those ads and everything. It was just too unbelievable. But when this happened, I'm like, oh no, there ain't no way. I don't like this. And so it is what it is, but giving a heads up.
She's selling the Mercedes, guys. What is she getting? What is she getting? She said, I'm done with Big Brother and Mercedes. No, I'm just joking.
I was so mad. I was like, I could not believe it. I said, I should have took the ticket. I said, you see, I should have paid for the brakes instead of letting you drive. They wouldn't have known this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But just protect yourself and, shut your phones off, people, because they are listening to everything. Sometimes I curse at them,
Yeah.
I go, you bleep, bleep. I know you're listening. Good night. And I hang up. Like, I always say something like that before I shut the phone. I always say, nope, you're not listening to me tonight. Good night, guys. And I hang up. I shut my phone off. But I always say something like smart ass before I hang up because I know that they're listening now.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're part of the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
Yeah, that's it. It's all your fault. They see me, they go, oh no, two of them in the same town, not a good idea. They're like, let's get her before she moves there.
Right. All right, Lori. Well, it's always nice to speak with you. You take care, love. You
too. Feel better with your back. And easy on those leaves. I ripped a hole in my stomach because of
that. Well, I take them. It's just this, I had that back problem when I was doing the fence out there. I stopped doing the fence. I got to go back out there and get the rest of the fence out. I've got to get this done because I need the county.
Go to the doctor, get some muscle relaxers. They're better. That's what.
But my back has just been tense here the last few days. It's been bothersome.
You're now going to be a weather vane. So we're expecting some rain to come through 2 days before. If you take notice, you're going to wake up out of nowhere. You're going to have back pain. You're going to be like, oh, crap, what's that? What did I sleep wrong? Mm-hmm. What is this? What is that? 2 days after that initial, you're going to see it's going to rain. Watch it. I guarantee it.
Well, I'm not going to be here. I'm hoping that with this whole the search and stuff, me being out there and walking around, I'm hoping that it relieves or pulls whatever, works whatever out on my back out. I'm just hoping. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, easy. Just take it easy. And thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you, Lori.
Really. God bless you on safe travels, and I'll be watching.
You too.
All right, and I love everyone in your group. You got the nicest chat, like to come in the morning and you just say hello, and everybody greets you, and we all talk to one another. And it's like there's like a lot of good creators where they're like real, like professional, and you got to give them props. But when it comes to a chat room, I think you guys, I love being in here in the morning. I really do.
Aww.
I really do.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And you know what? That is 100% my beautiful mods. They
they are. They're great.
As enjoyable as possible.
Yeah, they are. They're good. I love them all. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you. And just be careful, Betty. Okay.
All right, Lori. Take care.
Right,
bye.
Shut them phones. Okay. Goodbye.
So that's the last call we have for the day. It was so nice. We talked to Ruby, Regina, and Lori Lowe. Thank you, you beautiful ladies, for calling in and expressing your opinions. Steffers, 14 months. God bless you. Let me see if there's any. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hold on just a second. So we have, I did miss a few. So, Angie, new member, thank you for that. Inspire before expire. I love that. It says, Lori, did you drink a little too much? LOL, tipsy. That's cute. Inspired did a one gift membership. Thank you, Inspire. It's so sweet. And then, of course, we have our beautiful Steffers. Woo-hoo to be in BHB Coffee Bean. I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys are amazing. So it is now 8:39. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you guys have an amazing day. You will not see me anymore from this point forward. I may drop a video or two today. Don't count on it. Go over to my TikTok page. I will probably drop a couple down there. Just they have an easier video app on, that's associated with TikTok. It's just really easy to put together a video. So if I do a video, it'll be on TikTok, but you guys won't see me today or tomorrow. This is going to be the last time you guys see me until Saturday. I might go live tomorrow night, but every time I have long drives or anything like that, I don't really communicate. So tomorrow we'll see if I can come live tomorrow. I'll come live, and if I can't, I can't. So we'll see you guys soon. I love you guys. Have a great day. God bless. And because you won't see me, TGIF tomorrow. TGIF tomorrow. Take care, guys. God bless you.